I'm sitting at a bar when in walks Satan. He comes over and sits down next to me. Satan scrolls through his phone. So far he hasn't said a word. He's looking at cat videos. He lets out a guffaw and shows me a picture of a capybara wearing a Santa hat. No, it's not meant to be a Satan hat. We all know he doesn't wear one. The bartender comes over. The bartender's name is Thomas. I have my doubts about Thomas. He seems to be suspicious of everything, even animals. He's a poor judge of them. A dog with no teeth once bit him. He couldn't understand the significance of it. Thomas has an appalling habit of making terrible jokes. When you see Thomas coming towards you with a gaping mouth full of grinning teeth, you know it's time to quickly nip out to the bathroom to lock yourself into cubicle 4. At least it has a perplexing watermark on the ceiling that can keep you absorbed for hours. But I digress. Back to Satan. When Thomas sees his unsuspecting first-time customer, he immediately comes over and with no hesitation greets him thus. "Hell, oh," says Thomas, as in, "oh hell," but backwards. Satan glances up at him, as though he's been called by his baby name. Nevertheless, he shows Thomas a picture of a labradoodle wearing a Santa hat. I sit there quietly minding my own business. Unperturbed by Satan's rebuff, Thomas asks him, "What would you like to drink, sir?" Satan says to Thomas, "Can you get me a corpse reviver?" "I'm afraid not," says Thomas. "This is a very limited bar." "I see. How about a zombie?" "No can do." "Witch's brew?" "Don't think so." "Vampire's kiss, then?" "Once again, I'm afraid not." "Poison apple?" asks Satan hopefully. He pauses. "It's not much of a bar, is it?" he says finally. "And I'm not much of a bartender," responds Thomas. It is one of his jokes. Thomas gives a laugh. Nobody else does. Satan then says, "Well, tell me what you have and I'll take that." "I can bring you a Virgin Mary," says Thomas enthusiastically. Satan looks at me. "What are you drinking?" he asks me. "Oh, this." I look at my glass. Suddenly, I feel quite ridiculous. "I'm having a pumpkin beer." Satan shivers at the very thought. He turns to Thomas. "This man's having pumpkin beer, and you say this is a limited bar?" "I'm afraid it is," says Thomas jovially. You can see how bad his jokes are. Satan sighs. "Bring me a Virgin Mary," then he capitulates. I'm afraid that at this point I possibly offend Satan, because I say out aloud to myself, "I thought a corpse reviver was something the other fellow drank." Upon hearing this, Satan shivers at the very thought. Nonetheless, in the end, he and I get talking. Well, it is mostly he who does the talking, and boy, does he have a lot on his mind, and pretty much nothing to do. I've always been led to believe that idle hands are the devil's work, but in this case, he hasn't got any. Satan tells me that he has never had to work. "People have always done all my work for me, elevating me in their midst," he says. "How I enjoy that latitude." He pauses and continues. "Everyone says I'm out to destroy them. The truth is that they destroy themselves. It's far easier to blame me, an outsider, than to cast stones at oneself. Being a scapegoat, however, has its rewards. I, the mere devil, now rank alongside God. Not even the best of saints can aspire to that. How effortlessly this honour comes my way, packaged within people's own inner failings, of which I have none, for I am perfection itself." Satan stops to light a cigarette. He inhales deeply, then asks, "Do you mind if I smoke in your presence?" I reply that I do not. "Look," says Satan, showing me his hands. "My hands are clean. No cloven hooves here, dare I say. Does this not indicate that I am master of the house, and that I have servants who do all the work for me? They expect no payment other than to be able to curse me behind their back, which is to be naturally expected of those in employment, paid or otherwise." Satan takes another puff on his cigarette. He says, people are full of lies, even to me. Yet one would think, who would dare lie to the devil himself? He'd suspect straight away. I say, to the devil with them. Satan chuckles. He continues, everyone says cigarettes are bad for one's health. I have not found this to be the case. On the contrary, I find them to be most invigorating. Satan looks quizzically at me. I notice that you do not smoke. Why is that so? He asks. I reply that I have never felt the urge to smoke, that, as a captive to much in life, I do not wish to become further enslaved. I know what you mean, Satan sighs, examining the glowing tip of his cigarette. Then he says, addiction is often wasted on the most trivial and useless of necessities. But then you see, eternity lasts forever, and my hands are constantly idle. Smoking helps to pass the time. Doesn't hell keep you busy, I ask? Hell? Satan gives a cynical laugh. The hell of damnation, eternal flames, etc. The picture book one. Another of people's fabulous lies, I'm afraid. He continues to puff away. Then where do all the bad people go, I ask? Satan snorts derisively. The way people go on about hell, you'd think we'd be packed to the rafters by now. He takes another drag on his cigarette. Then says, if you were to ask a hell believer who has gone to hell, the standard response would be the obvious three suspects: Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot. Throw in a Genghis Khan or two, and we're possibly up to a tally of five. 5 people in hell. If you then ask who else has gone to hell, the hell believer instantly switches from specific people to rampant generalizations, such as all the murderers, the rapists, the killers of unborn children, etc. Suggest to the hell believer, my sister had an abortion, will she go to hell? Or, my uncle was drunk and while driving hit a pedestrian fatally, has he gone to hell? Or, my grandfather killed a man in war, has he gone to hell? The hell believer's response will be evasive and fanciful, threaded with the implication that you are nothing but a troublemaker sent to subvert them by the devil himself. Again I will be blamed, simply because you took it upon yourself to ask a few simple, for you, and uncomfortable, for them, questions. Satan pauses. The truth is that hell believers never nominate anyone they know as having gone to hell. Just imagine how many relatives and friends have been let off the hook by mankind since the dawn of belief. Satan sighs. Now you know why I have so much time on my hands. Again he pauses, undecided for a moment. Then, can you pass me another cigarette, please? Oh, for heaven's sake, I seem to have run out of matches. I take a surreptitious sip of my pumpkin beer, while Satan stares moodily at the counter before him. It is true. Thomas is not much of a bartender. The Virgin Mary never arrived.